Once upon a time, in a small, quiet town nestled between gentle hills, there was a girl named Shamika. She was a thoughtful girl with shiny black hair and big, hopeful eyes that often wandered to the stars, dreaming of places she could only imagine. But despite the brightness inside her, her days were not always joyful. At school, Shamika faced unkindness from a girl named Ika, who seemed to enjoy making her feel small and alone. Ika was popular and confident, always surrounded by friends, while Shamika often found herself shrinking, her voice fading in the face of Ika's taunts. One day after school, as Shamika sat alone by the window, Ika strolled over with a smirk. "Are you just going to sit here all day staring out the window? No wonder you have no friends, Shamika." Shamika's cheeks turned red, but she stayed silent. She wished for the words to defend herself, but found none. That night, as she lay in bed, the weight of Ika's words still clung to her. Shamika looked up at the twinkling stars and whispered, I wish I could just be alone, away from all the hurt, away from everyone." The stars seemed to blink back at her, and she felt her eyes grow heavy as she drifted into a deep, dreamless sleep. When she woke the next morning, something felt different. The house was unusually quiet. Shamika called for her mum and dad as she hurried down the stairs. "Mum? Dad? Where are you?" No answer. She wandered through every room, checked the yard, and even peeked into the neighbour's driveway, but there was no one, not a single soul in sight. Shamika's heart began to race. She ran down the street, calling out, "Hello? Is anyone there?" Only silence answered. For a moment, Shamika felt a flicker of excitement. She could do anything she wanted, go anywhere without anyone to bother her. She grabbed her bike and rode through the empty streets, laughing at the freedom. As she pedaled toward her favorite ice cream shop, she grinned to herself. "No one's here to tell me not to eat dessert before lunch." She took a big scoop of chocolate ice cream, savoring every bite. "This is awesome," she murmured, trying to convince herself that it was fun. In the empty mall, she tried on clothes she'd never have dared to wear. She walked the aisles of the grocery store, loading her arms with candy, chips and soda. "I can have anything I want," she said aloud, laughing as she bit into a bag of chips. But soon the laughter began to feel hollow. The silence that had once seemed freeing now wrapped around her like a heavy blanket. Standing alone in the empty mall, Shamika felt a deep ache rise in her chest. "Is anyone there?" she called out, her voice trembling. "Please, someone?" Only her own voice echoed back. Days passed, and the thrill of having everything to herself faded, replaced by a profound loneliness. She missed her mother's comforting hugs, her father's laughter, and even the chatter of her classmates. Sitting on a swing in the empty park, she whispered, "I thought this is what I wanted. I thought being alone would make me happy." Her eyes filled with tears, but it's not. One day, Shamika found herself in the mall's restroom staring at her reflection in the mirror. She didn't look like the girl she used to be. Her eyes were red from crying and her face seemed tired. "Why did I wish for this?" she asked herself softly. "I just want my life back. I just want people." She began to sob, her cries echoing in the quiet bathroom. When she finally stopped, she took a deep breath and stepped outside. To her shock, the once empty mall was bustling with life. People were walking, talking, laughing, just as they always had. Am I dreaming?" she whispered, looking around in disbelief. Rushing home, Shamika threw open the door and found her parents in the kitchen. Without a word, she ran over and hugged them tightly. Her mum laughed in surprise. "Shamika, honey, what's gotten into you?" Her father chuckled, patting her head. "What's this for?" "I just missed you," she said, holding them even tighter, the relief flooding over her. When Zora, her dog, came wagging her tail, Shamika knelt down, hugging her furry friend too. "I missed you, girl." That night at dinner, her parents exchanged puzzled looks as Shamika smiled at them, appreciating every word, every sound, every little moment. The next morning at school, she felt lighter. She looked around, realizing how much she'd missed the small things, the chatter in the hallways, the teachers' voices, the scuff of shoes on the floor. As she reached her locker, she noticed something unusual. Yikar was nowhere to be seen. "Where's Ikar?" she asked a classmate. "Oh, didn't you hear?" "Yikar's family moved away," the girl replied with a shrug. "Guess she won't be bothering anyone here anymore." Shamika felt a strange mixture of relief and gratitude. She took a deep breath, feeling that a shadow had lifted from her life. Just then, a voice interrupted her thoughts. "Hi, Shamika," said Diana, a kind girl from her class. "Mind if I walk with you to class?" Shamika smiled, surprised and touched. "I'd like that." Over the next few days, Diana and Shamika grew closer. They spent lunch together, sharing stories, and soon other classmates joined them. For the first time in a long while, Shamika felt surrounded by friends, by warmth and kindness. One afternoon, as she and Diana sat under a tree, Diana turned to her and said, "You know, you seem happier lately, like a weight's been lifted." Shamika smiled, looking up at the branches above, sunlight filtering through the leaves. "I think I just realized that being alone isn't always what I want. It's people who make life special." Diana nodded thoughtfully. "I'm glad you found that out. And I'm glad we're friends, Shamika." The two of them laughed, and Shamika felt her heart fill with gratitude. She'd once thought loneliness was freedom, but now she knew it was love and friendship that made her feel truly alive. That night, as she lay in bed, Shamika whispered a different wish to the stars. "Thank you," she murmured. "Thank you for showing me how much I have to be grateful for." The stars twinkled back as if they understood, and Shamika felt a deep peace settle over her heart. She no longer wished to be alone. She had found her place among people who cared for her, and she knew that this was where she belonged. From that day forward, Shamika's world was never lonely again. Surrounded by her family, her friends, and a newfound confidence, she embraced each new day with open arms, grateful for every smile, every kind word, and every moment of connection.